What is up, guys? For this video we're going to be tearing apart the PT Cruiser engine to see what an engine looks like with 250,000 miles almost, and we're also going to see what the actual failure was, because I do want to know what the condition of this engine is internally. So we're going to go ahead and get the transmission and all those goodies off of it and just remove that, and then get it put on the Harbor Freight engine stand. And then once it's on the engine stand, we're going to go ahead and just start tearing the engine down, digging into it and seeing what an engine with this many miles looks like. And I really want to see what the actual failure was. Let's just get into it. We're going to go and get this engine torn apart. It's been sitting on the stand for almost a week now, and I just haven't had the time to get to it. And I had the issue with the hoist, as you guys saw, so I got a new ram for it, which is orange and ugly looking, but it works, you know. I might have to paint it black because it actually really bothers me. Transmission is still laying right there, torque converter is still laying there. I'm just going to start tearing this engine apart. I'm going to find a way to get you guys set up so you can actually see what I'm doing, because you need to be kind of sitting up high to really be able to see anything. Hopefully in the next little bit we'll be able to see what was wrong with this engine and decide what to do with it. Basically all the accessories and junk is off of it, all the wiring harnesses are off. I removed pretty much every sensor from it that was on it, the alternator, the turbo, the intake manifold, all that stuff is on. There's still like little power steering hoses that need pulled off of it too down here. The turbo's in surprisingly good shape. Like, there's no shaft play or anything on it at all. I really expected to have a ton of shaft play, and there's not a bunch of oil in the outlet, so the seals in this turbo are still good, which is very surprising. I didn't expect it to be this healthy yet. I kept all the lines and I didn't damage any of them bringing them off. I got the wastegate. This thing has like the downpipe and the inlet and the compressor and the turbine housing and everything is all one piece on this car. Timing, and valve cover, and then head, and we'll see what the bottom end of this engine looks like. Alright, camera got full after only a few minutes of recording again. I cannot get the crank pulley off because I don't have a puller for it. I was going to remove the timing belt the correct way, but I just went ahead and chopped it. Went and pulled the cam gears off. They're laying down there. I will not be able to disassemble the bottom end, but I'll at least be able to get the head off for now. And in the next couple of days, I'll go rent out a crank puller. I might just go buy one just so that I have one, because I know I'm going to need a few more, or I'm going to need it a couple more times, and get that off and then pull the bottom end apart also. And we're going to finish getting this head removed, get to see what kind of damage actually occurred and why this thing was down a cylinder. Look at the size of the hole on that guy. Would you just look at all the buildup on all of these? This one right here is all oily and stuff, but the rest of them don't quite look like that. There's a lot of carbon buildup on this thing, that is for sure. I've never seen something with that kind of buildup on it. RIP. That's a, I mean, for size comparison, actually use my finger. So that's not a small hole. That's a pretty big hole. The bottom of the cylinder head looks fine. It doesn't look like anything got gnawed up or anything. So that piece of that valve went out somewhere and disappeared. In fact, it's probably back here in that somewhere, or down in the exhaust. I don't know, but it disappeared. It is not, doesn't look like it bounced around in the combustion chamber at all. So I'm gonna pick those cylinders up and let you guys see them. Alright, I got these two pistons up. You'll notice this one is very wet. Cylinder walls I haven't even really looked at, but wow, you know what? You can still see hatch marks from this thing being honed. Very, very good shape still. Same with this cylinder wall. And then all this dirt, I think, is from the head gasket cracking and popping loose. Let's turn that around and see if there's any damage to the cylinder wall on this one right here. Alright, let's take a look inside of this one. I don't see any damage. I see a lot of water. Maybe some coolant got into this one. But I don't see any big score marks, just water. Same with this one. So, block itself and those cylinder walls were still in really, really good shape. This thing might just need a rehone, and I could reuse the stock pistons and stuff on it if I really wanted to go super budget on 420A SRT4 Frankenstein build with the 420A head on the SRT4 block. I could probably do that, which maybe I'll do. We'll see. That's as far as I can get for now. I can't get any further until I take that off. Alright, I'm back. I don't know how long it's been, maybe a few days, but I did go ahead and get the crank pulley pulled off already. It's just laying down there on the floor. Timing cover is just kind of chilling here, and there's the bolt I need to remove to get the rest of it off. Turn the engine upside down, have the pan down here this time, letting it kind of drip out a little bit. Really all that's left on this engine now is the last couple remaining pieces for the timing, and the water pump is, I guess, part of the timing, I guess, and then the sump, which is partially connected here to the oil pan, and I'm going to have to look up how to actually remove that, because I don't know if I need to just remove those bolts or if there's a special way to do it, so I'm going to look that up before I go and just start taking bolts out of stuff. And then oil pan, and the whole bottom end will be exposed. There might be like a, I don't know, a girdle or something in there. I'm not really sure what this thing's got going on. These are pretty simple engines, so I'm not really expecting there to be a whole lot of stuff going on in the bottom end. Try to get the oil pan off and all of the timing stuff. I didn't really expect to see this type of stuff going on here. There are some little pieces of something in the sump, which obviously is not good. I don't really see anything else like horrible going on here though. Overall, everything looks surprisingly clean, even inside of the oil pan. Not a whole lot of crud going on in there. Almost looks like there's one giant ass like main cap that holds everything together. Looks like it's all joined together in one piece. Oil pump will come off, and then I can hopefully start taking the bottom end apart after that. And we'll see what kind of shape the bottom end bearings and stuff were in, and then we'll finally be done taking this engine apart. Alright, I went ahead and just finished tearing everything out, except I can't get the actual crank out because I can't get the gear for the timing belt removed, because there's a special puller you need to have to get that thing off, and it's stuck on there pretty good. I tried getting it off just by hand and stuff, and it's not coming out. Later on, I'm going to get that off and then finish taking the crank out, but basically I've seen all I needed to see. All 4 rod bearings were in great shape. I got all 4 pistons laying here so all the oil in them can kind of drip out a little bit. The bearings didn't have any real big scoring. There is no serious discoloration on the crank itself. There's like little tiny marks, but this thing can definitely be resurfaced and polished up and reused in the future, and I'm assuming all the mains should look about the same as the rod. This entire bottom half of the engine is one giant main, so this thing doesn't have just main caps you can unbolt and take out. It's one giant piece. Rods, pistons look fine. Rings are definitely worn down on them, but overall everything was in good shape. The rings were really the only thing in the bottom end of this engine that was very worn out. There's, like I said, all the bearings were really good. The chain and everything hooked up to the oil pump itself and all that stuff looked like brand new pretty much. I went and sat one of the bearings from one of the rods over here just so that we can give you guys a pretty good look at it. But there we go. I mean, that's about all you can see right there. There's like little tiny marks. This is the worst looking one that I had too. I just went and cleaned it up so you guys can see. But over on this left hand side you can see a little bit of a mark there. But overall, I mean, this thing isn't discolored. It's not all scraped up. It's not all shiny or anything, except for those 2 little spots, and this was the worst one out of the whole set. We may see some 2.4 liter rebuilding action going on in the future. I really want to build a 2.4 turbo bottom end with a 420A head for another project that I want to start working on at some point in the future. Maybe a neon, it may be something else. I'm still not completely sure. I want to build the engine first and just have that bit of it done, and then start looking for a platform to put it into. I had another idea for what to put it into, but I don't want to talk about that right now unless it's actually going to happen. We got a good engine to start with. The block and everything, of course, is good. Crank is definitely redoable, and pistons and rods, everything would just need cleaned up, and I would be able to use all this stuff again. I got 420A head, turbo head, looks like it might be fine. I just still don't know if the valve seat's damaged, and I haven't bothered to look really. But I got everything to put together one good 2.4 turbo engine with a 420A head. I think that's finally going to be the end of this video. I got a lot of editing to do. There was a lot of time lapses, which I pretty much just skipped doing at the end here because I wanted to get this thing finished up so I can kind of tidy things up and be done tearing this thing apart. Got a lot more coming up with the Dakota very soon. I did get this thing running right. I still haven't done a video driving it. I feel kind of bad for that, but this thing is as dialed as I can really get it with the automatic transmission still in it. So next thing, I guess, for it is to do the 5-speed swap, which is pretty exciting. I'm going to be ordering parts for that very soon, and then we will be back to normal, I guess, working on this thing. But if you enjoyed this video, please let me know. Hit that like button if you did, of course, and if you want to see more of this 2.4 build, let me know if you guys are really interested in seeing that. It's sort of 420A Eclipse related, which you know a lot of you guys came around here for that, which of course is gone now. But if you guys want to see this engine get built once I've kind of got this thing squared away a little bit, let me know. If there's a lot more interest in that, I will maybe prioritize getting that engine built a little bit sooner if that's what you guys want to see. But I think I'm going to end the video here. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you all later.